So, sled pulling S300 here. It has quite a few passes, I believe, on its recent rebuild. Two or three runs. 6.6 their Duramax. We don't know how much boost it's making. I don't think we do. But we're going to go from the modified 74 turbine back to a regular 74 turbine because the converter that's in it with this AGP 127 housing is too tight and it's not flashing like you kind of like it to flash. So we're going to go down because we can't get the engine RPM up where we want it to be. Like you can hear it getting close, the driver can hear it getting close, you can feel it in the seat. It just can't quite get there because it's hooked up to the track pretty good. So I'm going to go down in turbine flow. Right, so we're going to make the turbine more restrictive, which is going to increase the expansion ratio to help create more boost at the lower engine speeds so it comes out of the hole better because it can't flash the converter off the line. Then I have to essentially like flash the charger, right? So the charger tighter to get up on boost sooner. And it's probably won't hurt downtrack power because if it can't really quite yet get up above where it currently is RPM wise, then it can't really utilize the higher flowing turbine with this particular housing combination. So then it doesn't matter anyways. It's not really a net loss anywhere. It probably lose maybe a little bit because it's gonna have more pumping losses mid track, but then at the end of the track, it's going to stay on the charger better when the box drops. It's gonna come out of the hole better. So when it comes out of the hole better and get more mile an hour before it gets to that mid track point where it starts to kind of stabilize, and then it can go into the box drop with more ground speed, so you get more distance. Because once that box comes down, it's a lot of it is just the weight of the box sliding while it's slowing down. So that mid track mile an hour is good. You are not going to pull that thing much further once the pan comes down. It's a bit of a traction game and where the weight's placed, but you're slowing down. So that mile an hour mid track, is important, and you want to try and get in as high as you can. Take this thing apart, see how the insides look. Pretty sure they'll be fine. There's no damage. It's still nice and tight. Feels like it's supposed to. And put in a regular turbine wheel. Got our center cartridge out. Everything looked great. So this thing has a crazy rear ring gap in it because that's just how it was when it came in, and because it's a sled pulling application, I was mainly just kind of curious about what would happen. I mean, the worst that can happen is oil comes out the back, but it's a turbo I got to take apart quite often, so it's not a huge deal, and it's local, and I won't get in too much trouble for it because that's how it was when it came. So I left it. So it has like a uh, 0.009203 9. Yeah, it's almost a point oh one ring gap in it, which is wild. And no oil at the back. So anytime you get these things, hopefully this works. So anytime these little rings get stuck in here like this, and the fires don't want to open them, just get a punch that fits inside the holes, and you can pop them loose. And if they're like really stuck in there, you take your punch and then you grab a flat blade, bigger one. So it's not wanting to fall over. Then you can wedge them way out. And now, if this works, it should be free. So now come out. Tech tip of the day. to cut that out and something else. Now this guy looks great. So this oil is not oil that's leaking by. This is assembly oil because this thing has like 3 passes on it. It's pretty much new still, except for no break-in, no nothing. It gets fired up, idles for too long, hits 4,500 or whatever down the track, gets turned off, and that's about it. And it just does that over and over. As far as abuse goes, it's about as abusive as it gets. Now, whenever you can steady state things, you're in good shape. So there's no oil coming out of the inside of here. Can we see this? So this is assembly oil from when I put it together. Where you'll see oil come out of these things is the ring area, and we are nice and dry, looking good. So front ring gap. I want to say the front ring gap was pretty decent on this. I think I have the chart somewhere to go check. I want to say it was like a 004, which is standard. But the rear was like 009, which is, yeah, it was 009, which is absolutely huge. Almost a 01. And that's inch and inches. My curly one. Here it is. Let's check out our bearings. Lower, upper, up. There we go. There we go. So we look great. So this is the original thrust that was in it. Yeah. Pretty sure it's the original, or it's a good used one out of another one. And remember, there's nothing wrong with used parts, especially like OEM used parts. There's no aftermarket kits that are this same like metallurgy. Like this is good stuff. So it always kind of really sucks when it gets damaged and you can't reuse it. This is good stuff. The OEM stuff is really nice. None of your aftermarket, I don't care where it's from, is as good as the original. Like OEM kit is going to be quite a bit more expensive, and just no one's going to buy it. So even if it did exist, the chances of it selling well are pretty low. And the reason for that is if the cheaper stuff works just fine, then it's a hard sell on the more expensive stuff. How it goes. So that's upper lower. Shouldn't have to pull the journals out. I mean, just pull them and look at them, but all the specs are going to be same as before. I need this. Clean the shaft up. It's nice. It's not rusty. It's just dusty. Good. To be sure, we will mic it and then throw all these parts back on, tighten it, and bounce it, put it all back together. So because nothing's damaged, all my tolerances are still exactly what they were as long as I use the exact same parts. So it really doesn't take too long to come in here and do this stuff. Yep. So 3.5. If anybody's curious about the nomenclature for this, a non-clipped one is like 73.5, 73.40. And so the nomenclature for it is a 74. And then the factory clipped ones, the nomenclature is 73. So it's not that they are two different sizes. It is so builders can tell them apart. Or it's like, and it's how they're sold too. Like if you, not always, but a lot of them are sold. If you buy a 73 or a 74, you are going to get two different wheels, depending on some sellers. Not always. Uh, if it have to show a photo of whatever they're selling you, that is the best way to go about it. Press looks great. Okay, lower, upper, upper. You. Go. Also, I checked before taking it all apart. The alignment was money. It was nice. Right, there's my two marks for the nut, which is good because it's like one of the big thing with sled pulling is making sure uh, your compressor wheel and turbo wheel don't go out of sync. We spent like a lot of time making those work. Alright, that looks nice. Alright, now I'm going to balance this thing up real quick, put it back together, and let them know it works. Let's just check these guys real fast. Just like that. Like a little bit of sand or something. But these are brand new because the ones that were in it were smoked heat-wise. I even have one still. This is what was in it. Full scale. And this thing will still work. And dimensionally, it's actually still fine. It's just oxidized. It's kind of crazy because I was always kind of under the impressions, because of what other people said, that if you get these things too hot, and it is true, if you get them too hot, they will grow beyond their elastic point and not come back down to the original size. But I haven't seen it happen yet with bearings. I've seen it happen with other objects, but I haven't seen it with the turbocharger bearing. I mean, and this thing is oxidized. I don't know. One of those things where people say a lot of stuff and not actually like how it's working. Yes, it's fine. I just don't know where all this stuff comes from. Oh, just there. Carefully. Here's the rear. There's it brighter over here. I don't know how to get the sun to come off this thing. There we go. The rear looks good too. They're just still. The rear looks better. Pretty sure this was a new set. Well, it feels better. Okay. Well, wash this thing out, clean it. We should be ready to rock and roll. Put it back together, balance up the thing. See how it does. I will be back once it's all together with like maybe a little outro or something. So, yeah. So this thing's all back together. Ready to rock and roll. So everything looked great. The only things that were weird were the front journal. Looked like it had like a lot of not like a terrible amount, but it got grit through it somehow again. But this oil feed fitting is kind of funky on this thing. Um, it's wider than the top once it goes through. so I don't know what's up with that. Other than that, so I can see. Regular turbine now. No fanciness going on. What is really cool is how the other turbine looked flow-wise. Was pretty awesome. But this thing's ready to go. It is a 72, 74 on a 6.6 Duramax. Not that there's any other size of Duramax. It just can't get quite enough RPM. So this should help take care of that. So I said I reduced the flow of the turbine wheel. And what that does is increases the expansion ratio sooner. It's probably going to have more drive pressure, but it is I don't think it's on aftermarket cam. It's not on ported heads. Like there's nothing really about the engine that's geared at being super sensitive about drive pressure other than the drive pressure acting upon as an exhaust brake at all times, as well as, and that's all drive pressure that does that, and then lack of cylinder evacuation from just compressing the gas and then uncompressing the gas during the intake stroke. You can't get it out. Should be good. So stock motors typically don't care about, like, they don't have as many problems with cylinder evacuation with higher drive pressure because they're designed to function with high drive pressure from the factory. Versus once you start, like if you do like cam head and start moving the RPM band up on these things, it does get more important. That stuff stays more ideal. So it's gonna lose like some top end. I don't even think though engine RPM wise we're getting to where that setup wanted to run anyways due to the converter not letting the truck get going. So this should work out good, I think. So more data. The compressor wheel was not stretched at all. Looks great. So there's plenty left in it. Compressor will continue to flow more until the compressor explodes. So that's my goal with sled pulling stuff, drag racing stuff, anything limited charger. Goal is to find where the compressor explodes and then you back off that a little bit. That's the best way to go about it. So, and if the compressor hasn't come apart yet, there's more power left in it because we can handle the heat. Got massive intercoolers in these things, not a problem. Then generate more turbine power can also handle that. So that's not a problem. There's different turbines and different shapes I can do to get the mass up to create the turbine power required to get the compressor to function right. Now it gets in smaller and smaller increments as the shaft speeds get higher because the amount of consumption from the compressor gets like exponent. It grows. It starts to grow really fast, so you can't just like get your cake and eat it too indefinitely. There's a limit to it. But turbo limited classes, such as this one, they do it. So, thank you for hanging out. Have a good one.